Hello children! Today I am going to show you how to make the famous Matilda Brucey chocolate cake. So it's really important that you make sure you have an adult working with you because you will be using the oven, so it's really important that you have an adult helping you out. Also children, make sure you wash your hands before you start anything at all. First things first children, you need to know what ingredients are needed for the cake. Now I have already put this all up on the Year 6 World Book Day website, but I will also show you what you've got. For the sponge, okay, we have here flour, 200 grams of flour, we've got 125 grams of cocoa powder, we've got 200 grams of sugar, 300 ml of milk, 4 large eggs, 5 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and then we just need 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I've got my baking powder and my bicarb soda here. For the icing and the filling, we have got cream cheese here. Now I just use Philadelphia. I've got 250 grams of butter, I think it was 125 grams of cream cheese. I've got 1/4 cup of milk. I've got about 450 grams of icing sugar. Now I was slightly less with that, so it's okay, it's fine to sort of manage with what you've got. So it's just roughly around 450 grams but slightly less. And then I have 125 grams of cocoa butter as well. You will also need 2 separate mixing bowls, and you'll need a whisk. You also need 2 baking tins. Now I have used 7-inch cake tins. You might not have 2 cake tins, but you can use even one. Just cook that first and then cook the other layer afterwards. And if you don't have 7-inch cake tins, that's fine as well. You can manage it with 8, 10, whatever inches you've got at home. You will need to grease up your pan, and then if you want to, you can sprinkle a bit of flour. If you've got baking paper at home, circle it or cut it to the shape of your pan and then line the pan up. Okay, so that's ready for our mixture. You need to also make sure that you have an adult to help put on the oven for you. Okay, so I've already put my oven on. It's on gas mark 3, 175 degrees Celsius. Okay. So now we're all set, let's start baking. Okay, so we're going to put in our 200 grams of flour. Make sure you get all of it in there. Then we're going to put in our cocoa powder. Okay, in goes our sugar. So just going to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate soda, and we've got 1 teaspoon of salt. So these are all our dry ingredients, and we're just going to whisk it together just to mix it all up a bit. We're going to put our dry ingredients to the side now, and we need another mixing bowl for our wet ingredients. Okay, I'm going to add my 4 eggs. I am going to add my milk in. And I will add my vegetable oil. And then whisk away. After mixing it well, we are now going to add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. And then you need to make sure you whisk that well. you might need to get an adult help to help you with whisking. Keep mixing until the dry and wet ingredients have combined together well. So it should look something like this, a lovely gooey chocolatey texture once you have mixed it in well. Delicious! Can't wait to eat it. Now our cake batter is ready, we're going to transfer it to our grease tins. So put a little bit in each one. It's going to get quite messy. As you can see, it's very, very runny. And then see how we get on. Oh, can't wait to see how these turn out. Okay, so now we've filled up the 2 cake tins. As you can see, I've left a little bit of space at the top because I'm hoping that my cake will rise in the oven. Now, as you can see, I've got some extra batter left. If you are in the same situation, you can make a 3-layer cake if you've got another tin, or you can wait for these to cool down and bake again. So now I am going to put these straight into the oven, but please make sure an adult is doing this for you, as you cannot go near the oven by yourself. So after about 30 minutes, our cakes should look something like this. I know they look a bit cracked, but that's okay. We're going to cover it with our icing. Now, the way you know it's ready is you use either a toothpick or a cocktail stick to prod into the cake, and if it comes out clean, that means your cake is ready and cooked. We are going to leave these in the tins for 30 minutes to cool down. In the meantime, we are going to get our frosting ready. Okay, so now I'm going to add my 250 grams of butter in here. I'm also going to add my cream cheese, 125 grams of cream cheese, and then you need to just whisk that together to make it nice and fluffy. You might need a fork or a spoon to help mix it all together. This is how you can use a spoon to mix it, just to mix it in well. So now I'm going to add my cocoa powder. I'm going to mix that in. I know the mixture looks a bit dry, but it will fix itself later. We're going to carry on adding the icing sugar, so 1 cup at a time. At this point, I've put half of my icing in, and now I'm going to put my 1/4 cup of milk in. Now that it's starting to come together, I'm now going to add the other half of the icing sugar in. As you can see, after a lot of mixing, we've got quite a thick consistency, and I've stopped using the whisk because I found the fork a lot easier to whisk. Now if you need to, children, you can add a little bit more of milk if you feel like your icing is too thick. And now, children, that's your icing ready. Look at that lovely texture. Can't wait. Okay, so what I've done is I have run a knife through the edges of the cake tin. I have flipped the bottom layer of the cake onto a plate, and I have sort of got my filling, chocolate filling, and I've put a good thick layer on top and just smooth it out. The other layer will go on top of this to make my double layer cake. Now I've put the rest of the chocolate filling on top of the cake and on the sides, and I'm just smoothing it out. Okay, make sure you fill in the gaps, so there should be icing on all the sides at the top, covering it all up. Make sure you have an adult help you out with using a knife to smooth out the filling, the icing on top. Okay, so I've spent a bit of time smoothing the cake out. It still looks slightly messy, but that's okay because that's how the Matilda cake was. I'm ready to now just indulge into it. Time to try the cake. So good, delicious. Thank you for watching, children. Have a good day. Bye bye.